Folo back, and I wrote it. I wrote it in a good way, but I'm still in conflict on how I'm gonna say this. You know, because I'm about enjoying life. I'm not here to argue with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'll debate, but it's I'm not. We're not gonna. I can't debate you because if I'm on this side of logical thinking and you're on some illogical um, hypocrisy, right? If you're ready to just to die in the midst of I should be able to kill. I should be able to kill somebody. Like it's a waste of my time, right? I should be able to have 6 baby mamas. Like nah, dude. And that's what what's his name? See, I forget their names that fast, right? Um, uh, the woke folk dude. Jeez. Anyway, those names hit me. Nick Cannon is one of them, right? But Nick Cannon has a bunch of biological baby mamas. Like all the kids are his. He just got a couple, baby mamas. The other one is Cat Williams. Cat Williams only has one biological child, but has a bunch of kids that he adopted. All right, so therein is, what's their relationships, what's going on. That's really none of our business. It's just that both of them say have 8 kids. One of them, all the kids is his biologically, and that's Nick Cannon. The other one only has one biological kid, and the other 7 is, have different mothers. Some, probably some of them got 2 or 3 kids or whatever. Who knows what happened to the biological father? Maybe he, got killed or something. And he stepped up to be the father, the stepdad or whatever. But the country only really supposed to be legally married to one man, one woman. So that's with the big debate and the social aspect of that. And I'm only starting in that way because this video out in that manner is because I'm trying to stay away from the quote unquote politics and focus on the games, right? So this is a game here. This is Super Mario Wonder. My son wants me to play this, all right? So I'll play it. Oh, so I got it. All right, so this here, okay. Okay, so we play, okay, so this one plays a little different. So this is a game me and my son play together. This is his, but I'm sure he has a different on his console. I probably have to link it up to the thing to download it or something, but we'll figure all that out. I just, going through the motions right now. So I'm just going through the motions, and of course you get to pick all these people, and we'll just say Mario. Okay. So where do I begin at? I don't know. Okay. So this is all that we did so far together. All right. So I need to practice. I probably need to go all the way back to the beginning. But yeah, y'all know what I'm really, yes, I'm here to rap. Not really play this game, but to show my son, yeah, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna do a playthrough or whatever from the beginning, I guess. But since we did it together, I gotta figure out how to get all the way back to the beginning. What's L? So L is what? Okay, so I can. So I don't even know which one is World 1. We did all this. We finished the game together. So special world. What's that? I don't know what I'm doing. So he's probably looking at me and laughing if he's watching this video. Alright, so this must be the very beginning of the game. Alright, right? So I might do a little gameplay through here or something. But I'm also going to share some, what I'm calling social studies. What social studies is actually us, we the people, studying the history, studying, where's my notes at? Let me see here. We're studying them, actually. It's not, we got this kind of backwards. So it's us studying the laws, the laws are rights, right? We have these things called the Bill of Rights. So it's all right. So it's not politics, but social studies is us studying the Ten Commandments, for example. That's number one. Those are the laws. Two would be the Bill of Rights. In America, United States, we have these first 10 things called the Bill of Rights. That'd be second. So first is the Ten Commandments. Two would be the Bill of Rights. Three would be the lawmakers, the politicians, right? Because they're here to serve us. We're not here to serve them. That's true social studies. Them studying us is politics. That's their aspect. That's them saying this is what we want, the people, and they're using their collective data to justify the quote unquote policies to make sure we're law-abiding citizens as well. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just that if we're law-abiding citizens, if we are following the Ten Commandments, for example, to a T, love God, respect Lord, seek wisdom, and the list goes on, right? We good. So then we got the Bill of Rights. So then we have the freedom of speech. So that's why I can come on here and say what I want to say, right? I shouldn't have to, I can censor myself because I don't want to go filth, floor, and filth. And that's what Bill Cosby used to say, ironically, right? When talking on the microphone and knowing that, some children might be listening. So I try to keep my content PG-13. So really, if you're 10 to 13, you should have parental guidance listening to me, right? If you're 13 and up, I'm sure you already heard the S word, poop, right? The bad, word, or even gay, which used to be just a common word of, being happy, right? So when I was growing up in the 70s, gay meant being happy. It meant, it was Jack Tripper was on a show called Three's Company. And what Jack Tripper did was he pretended to not like women, and he'd rather find a boyfriend, which is weird, right? But there are guys that are under that kind of complex with mentally of wanting to be with another guy for the rest of their life as man and man, which goes against the original fundamental definition of marriage, which was man, woman, and then their children, which create the family. It wasn't never man, and then I'm going to do what's the name did not Nick Cannon, the other one, and adopt a bunch of kids. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do what Nick Cannon did if it's two men. Like, you need a man and a woman, right? So Nick Cannon going, he needs a woman to have a whole bunch of kids, right? It's technically against the law, right? And especially in America, because then he has to be able to afford all those wives and children, and if our nation is trying to cancel him, like, hey, you can't be a popular comedian with all those women and kids, right? thusly destroying his life because he has too many baby mamas, right? How righteous is that? Then on the other side, when you have Cat Williams, I'm gonna remember your name. Cat Williams is dope. I love Cat Williams. Cat Williams, who has one biological mother. I don't know if they married or not, but then he has a bunch of other kids that he adopted. So technically, it's him, his biological mother, and then a bunch of other women that their husbands got killed or moved over to went back to Africa or whatever the case may be, right? But he's taking care of his family, right? So he's the head. But when you have two men, you can't biologically do that unless they go and impregnate a whole bunch of women and then steal the babies as being the biological fathers, excluding them as being the two. That's weird. And then they doing whatever, you know what I mean? Like, nah, dude, that doesn't make any sense. And it's unfair against the traditional family, where it's just the father, and then yeah, he should be able to partner up with another father like Nick Cannon and Nick Cannon and Cat Williams should do a comedy, and they do a comedy thing together. That's why it's kind of, I don't even know if they still do that show together, but they did a comedy show together, and hence they were partners, but they weren't, partners in the sense of two men being married. Like, that's weird. So it's weird to me having to explain it just like that and be under attack by woke folk who Cat Williams is supposed to be representing, right? He has a cross and it says woke folk on it. That I'm the bad evil guy because I'm against the LGBTQIA plus DEI PDF democratic policy that Barack Obama and Joe Biden created. Being lawyers, like I'm supposed to be able to analyze them too, like, those policies and laws go against God. They're anti-God. So why are y'all keep pushing that ignorance? That's what I'm supposed to say as a citizen, right? But instead, women are attacking me for being for creating patriarchal practices like the church, where it's the pastor is a male, he has a wife, they are the head of the church, and then the deacons, other their wives and everything is building a network of male families, and that being going against LGBTQI policies as well. And then them putting it on hip hop. Like, that's why I was like, why are you putting that on hip hop? Like, nah, that's not what hip hop's about. Hip hop is about, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. Like, we don't exclude Roxanne Shante. Like, Roxanne Shante is one of the dopest of all time. So when Roxanne Shante came at KRS One, said, your name sound like a whack radio station, I was like, yeah. And I looked at Chris like, she kind of got you with that one. It does sound like a whack radio station. Like, that was witty. That was a dope line, But then Chris came out and called her, a hoe. And, you know what I mean? It was like, weak. Like, that's how I thought. Like, that was weak, dude. Like, you know what I mean? But you still the teacher. I still respect you. Like, you know what I mean? Come back with a better line. But he did have better lines, you know what I mean, throughout, the South Bronx and The Bridge Is Over. Those two songs changed battle rhymes, and they changed the complexity of hip hop, because one was boom bap and the other one was the reggae style, and it was like on the same album, and they had metal on that album with a dope beat, and it's a nice, like, that album is, Criminal Minded is one of the greatest albums of all time, because it was the mixture of, it might even, I don't think it's a disco joint on there, but it was it was a blending of all the different quote unquote music genres and made it gangster. You know what I mean? So that's why Criminal Minded is considered top 5 album of all time. But I just seen an interview with him giving the same accolades to Nas's album. What's the name of Nas's album? Illmatic. Him giving credit to Illmatic as being better than Criminal Minded. And I'm like, in some ways it is, because all of hip hop came together to make that album happen. And that was the first time that actually kind of happened. But since then, that's kind of the tradition out of hip hop coming together. And it doesn't exclude the ladies. It's just that it is more men based than it is the women rhyming. And I'm not knocking the women, because my favorite rapper right now is Nior, Shay Nior. I love the young girl. She's spitting it. She killing it. She just got married. I think she just had a child. You know what I mean? And she invests in her husband's business. I think he's a barber or something in New York or something. So she's investing in his business, and they making it work. And it's none of my business. Like and she's still a little roughneck, but she still can, you know what I mean, throw on the wedding gown or whatever, and still be feminine, and you know what I mean, pull out the gat just in case the revolution pops off. Like, I mean, that's hell to me, but she's a young girl, so it's like, you know, like, I don't, right? Like, that's what Gen X and baby boomers, like, why are we still promoting the lust? Like, even the millennials, like, why are y'all still promoting the lust, right? I can understand, you know, the zombies, the Gen Zers, right? Because they, you know, they're young, they teenagers, they still, you know, they still wet in the pants, you know, so they chasing each other still, you know, like, you know, my son been chasing little girls since he was in kindergarten, so it's like, son, right? He chasing one girl, another girl chasing him. I'm like, son. If you just stop, one will grab you, yo. Like, what are you doing? But there it is. And this is difficulty too. So is this the first? I don't know. So I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna share 2 videos. I'm gonna get a new controller too, so that it'll stop doing this, you know. But it is what it is. All is good. I just wanted to share that to prelude what I'm about to share. One is going to be Dana with the Data with Judge Joe Brown. They're going to be talking about, like I'm saying, we talk, the people, we talk about social studies. Politicians talk about politics. Right, so that's what we have to differentiate the difference. Pastors talk about religion. Epistemologists like myself, I'm actually talking about theology. I'm talking about the study of religion and the books, and then how they relate to, you know, a scientific method, you know, science, technology. How do we use technology to grow? Engineering. How the universe is one big engineering, you know, miracle, right? And the mathematics is the construct, right? That's what makes epistemology. Now, Keras One is a metaphysician, and his concepts is more spiritual in base. Mine is more in the construct of the universe. And how we can use that in our minds, with our bodies, understand the soul, the spiritual aspect of it, and be a part of it. So that's my main goal, but it can be quite dangerous. But we'll talk more about that later on too. But yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, share. I'll play a little bit. I may do this one level after this videos, these 2 videos. I want y'all to watch them, pay attention. I'll spit my little 2 cents. One is, like I said, is Joe Brown. The second one is going to be DeAndre at Detroit HT, just to share some different aspects from Gen Xers and baby boomers on social studies is actually what we're supposed to be doing as as you're growing from teenagers, right? Because once you turn 18, you're legally able to vote. So you should be studying You should be studying the politicians from the aspect of being a citizen first. Then, if you want to decide to go into politics, you can actually get involved and change the narrative of even the judiciary system by going to court to be a juror, or to, if you want to be a legal defender or a prosecutor or a judge. That'd be like the first kind of step in getting involved. And then, even if you want to leapfrog that and just go straight into Congress, you don't need a legal degree to be a congressman. You do need like a lawyer to be a part of your crew. But in these times, you need that to even open. You need a lawyer to open up your own business. So, and the only way to get to a good lawyer is to know the law and get to know the lawyers, so that you can find one that you can trust, which is a tough thing to do, to find a good lawyer that you can trust. Trust me, right? That's the process I'm going through now, finding good lawyers so that I can get my businesses started and take it to whole new levels. But one step at a time. Hope y'all enjoy these little videos, and I appreciate y'all if y'all listen to me so thus far. You know what I mean? In the aspect of what I was rapping about, I gave y'all 21 minutes. I went overtime, so geez, I'm going overtime. Here I go with the reel. Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Off. I'm not talking about materialism. I'm talking about our attitude. So I'm talking about our attitudes on how we approach a problem, how we're trying to resolve this problem. Our attitudes have not changed. We're still in a plantation mentality. We still are gripped by what others tell us to think. We're not thinking for ourselves.
Yep.
One of the reasons why is because we feel defeated. And I understand that. I understand the defeat. But at the same time, in history, when every people that were oppressed, when they felt defeated, they did something to come out of it. And it took extreme measures, but they came out of it. Our ancestors did the same thing. We're at another point in history where it's going to take extreme measures for us to get ourselves back and get out of this. And we as a people need to stop fighting each other. I'm so sick of us acting a fool and providing the world with entertainment with our actions of our ignorance and stupidity, because that's what we're doing. We keep showing them how ignorant and stupid we are. And that's not all Black people. That's not the majority of us.
Why? Not
we have to do something. We have to do something in order to stop it. And it starts at home.
First off, baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1966. If it was born outside of that, it ain't a baby boom. Now, next thing, stop. Just some of the people that get mentioned as being part of the problem are not boomers. Now, next thing here, I will say this. From World War II to where we are now, we have many, many more options available right now. The problem is we do not exercise those options because we glorify dysfunction. Our worldview and mindset is such that when we look at a situation and try to analyze it, we come up with things that tend to be dysfunctional rather than those things that actually address and might correct the problems that we face. Next thing that is an illustration of that, now let the next person come up, is what we do. There has always been what they call the Robin Hood syndrome, which effectively is somebody robs from the rich and gives to the poor. He sets up a condition of righteousness where he corrects an exploitive situation. We are not robbing from the rich and giving from to the poor. We're robbing our neighbors. We are not giving the stuff that avariciousness has deprived the ordinary people of back to the people. We're stealing it from the people who have been suffering the most. We talk about organized crime, and when we look at it, you have only to look at the popular culture around and about organized crime. If you're talking about the mafia or something like that, you don't sell drugs in your community. You don't make your women whores. You do not rob your people. You do not burglarize your people. You don't shit where you eat, in other words. And that's what we do. We rob our own. We burglarize our own. We poison our own. And we have all sorts of justifications for it, wherein those people who rise above it say, in spite of the justifications, we will take the hard steps, bite the bullet, so to speak, and do what is necessary to move beyond this dysfunction. Now, I pass the microphone.
Thank you for sharing your space, Your Honor. I want to just thank you so much for what you just said about our community. I'm talking about Black Americans victimizing Black Americans. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, which just went viral for the second time in like months.
Shout out to Cincinnati.
No, ma'am.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm in Ohio right now, and I said I'm going to take a trip down there because I think Cincinnati is special, but go ahead.
Okay, Cincinnati is very socio-economically segregated.
All right, YouTube, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit on this Monday morning. I got 3 clips for you this morning dealing with the Black community and their relationship to the Democratic Party. I'm going to show you what Minister Louis Farrakhan actually said about Donald Trump. I'm going to show you also what Malcolm X said about the Democratic Party. And then I'm going to show you what the DC residents are actually saying about what's going on with the National Guard being deployed in DC. See, the Democrats, they holding on to the mentality and the emotionalism of the Black community. I had somebody tell me about the Civil Rights Bill of LBJ. LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, didn't write that bill. It was a Republican bill. Yes, it was. It was a Republican bill, and they forced LBJ, the Democrat, to sign a civil rights bill. They kept forcing him. He didn't want to give you a civil rights bill, just like the Democrats right now don't want to give you a crime bill, a hate bill, or they don't even want to protect you in your community. They despise you. They're the same Democrats that fought to uphold slavery, and the same Democrats that created Ku Klux Klan, the same Democrats that created redlining and Jim Crow. But you don't want to hear that, I know. You don't want to take it from me. But as far as who we can listen to, there is nobody in the Black community that doesn't think and know that Malcolm X was a genuine person who had the best interests of our community. And he called a Black Democrat a chump and a traitor, because you're so mad about Trump. But who told you that Trump was against Black people? You didn't say he was against Black people when he went to court every day with Michael Jackson. You didn't say he was a racist when Jennifer Hudson's family was destroyed and he flew to Trump Towers. You didn't say he was a racist when he gave Reverend Al Sharpton money for the Rainbow Coalition or whatever that is he had. You didn't say he was a racist when he backed Jesse Jackson. You didn't say he was a racist when you created the First Step Act. When did he become our enemy? Who told you that? I know who told you that. Your masters, who you give 90% of your vote to. So now you have the black community. You have the left over there, which are the liberals, still under the influence of the Dixiecrats, even though they give them nothing. They can never find a solution for none of your problems. They don't even try. But yet you blindly give them your vote. And at this point, who can even understand why? Why? See, I know you don't want to take it from me. You feel like, oh, well, he's just an old guy in the car making a video. But you respect Malcolm X, don't you? And a lot of y'all even respect Farrakhan. But do y'all even respect the voices of the people in the communities like DC, Baltimore, New York that just had a mass shooting? No, you don't want to hear that because you're so emotional and you want to be so close to your master because you want the biscuits and the crumbs off their table that you don't even want equality and justice. You talk about J. Edgar Hoover and his attack on our community, but that was a democratic regime. So, without further ado, I want to play this first clip, and it's Minister Farrakhan. Then I'm going to play a clip by Malcolm X. And then I'm going to play the clip from yesterday about the DC residents. And when you listen to these clips and what I've said, you weigh it against the truth and the history in this country. And you put on your thinking cap and you think about what's in the best interest of your own communities. So without further ado, let's get into these clips. This for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act, for education and commentary.
And there it is. You know, I went over. My bad. It's 31 minutes, 32 minutes. I'm wrapping it up right now. You know, I do my best. I kind of overwrapped the beginning part. My only thing I want to add is to Judge Joe Brown, right? Judge Joe Brown has to be what I want to my baby boomer uncles, aunts, uncles, parents, right? I'm a Gen Xer, right? I'm 71, right? I'm a 71 baby. And I've been repeating this. Judge Joe Brown just increased baby boomers to 66. It's like, y'all stop. No, right? You're pushing it more and more towards, you know, the next thing I know, baby boomers are going to be 69. Like, no. Baby boomers stop at 59, right? 1960 to 1979 is Generation X. Now, I know, who decides what to do? Like, stop, right? Just make it even intervals. I understand why y'all trying to slide it one way, you know what I mean? Because y'all still trying to hold on. If we do the dates that I just said, right? If we said that means in 1940 to 1959 is baby boomers. That means Spike Lee and Ice-T are baby boomers, all right? So those are two names that I can look at Judge Joe Brown and be like, that's Pookie and Ray Ray, right? That's Ness. You can, like, for who you saying, blame the rappers. That's what the pastor was saying on there. You know, the reason why the homes are broken or whatever. We need to get the dads back in the home. And it's like, all right, I'll deal with you in a minute, pastor. And he's actually a Gen Xer, so he's trying to include him as being a baby boomer. It's like, no. he's a Gen Xer. He's not a baby boomer, right? Chuck D is a Gen Xer. He's not a baby boomer, right? Yes, he's my older cousin or whatever, right? I respect Chuck D, but I'm willing to concede 1960 is when Chuck D is born. You're a Gen Xer. Ice-T is a baby boomer. I understand, y'all. He's only 2 years older than you, so you could be included with the baby boomers. But you're only 3 years older than KRS-One, right? And KRS-One is clearly a Gen Xer, right? Pretty much, he's clearly a Gen Xer. Same with LL Cool J is clearly a Gen Xer, and I think Chuck D might have LL by a year or so. They're real close in age. Big Daddy Kane too. They're all real close in age. So they are buddies, right? But we have to for us calling ourselves hip hop, we have to concede that then 1960, that's the beginning of Generation X. That's the beginning of hip hop. Started out in the park, right? That's the beginning of it. Right? That's the beginning of our legends. Ice-T, yes, he's our elder, because he is a baby boomer, and I love Ice-T. Spike Lee too, but Spike Lee has been inclusive of the LGBTQIA plus, especially with his first film, She Gotta Have It. It's why did you allow them to take what was originally a tragedy and make it into a liberation of deviancy, right? That's a clear attack on the foundational Black American. That's what the pastor was rapping about, and hence changing the fundamental definition of gay, causing a lot of single-parented homes. Now, we got to get the dads back in the home, but when you have a woman with multiple baby daddies, right? Which father earned the right to come back to the home? All right? And I'm saying that with respect. One God, our Father, art of time, hip-hop life, love one. As God is love, hip-hop is life, time is holy. Money is nothing more than the fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because economics is nothing more. Well, economics is making the most. It's the art. It's an art form like hip hop, right? That's what hip hop is. It's the art of making the most out of hip hop, and that's life. One, God is understood. Yo. Respect. Peace and happiness.